Hello guys. Welcome to Powerpack Wrestling. Today we are going to talk about WWE Monday Night Raw. Let's check out which segments and matches are aligned for tonight's Raw. Jey Uso vs Drew McIntyre is already booked in last week. Judgement can pull Jey Uso in their team. Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio storyline will pick up the pace. Cody Rhodes kicks off Monday Night Raw, making his first appearance after a couple of weeks. The American Nightmare claims he is ready to talk about main event Jey Uso but is interrupted by Dominic Mysterio. He claims once Jey Uso joins the Judgment Day, they will continue their dominance in WWE. He adds that Rhea Ripley was injured after Nia Jax's attack the previous week but would return soon to compete. The young Mysterio announces that he will dedicate his match win to Rhea Ripley. Cody Rhodes mocks him, saying that Dominic is more into Ripley than she is into him. The American Nightmare states that the Women's World Champion seemingly has eyes for Jey Uso. Before Mysterio can respond, his teammates walk out. Moving to the next match. Dominic Mysterio vs Cody Rhodes. The match starts with Mysterio launching at Rhodes but he gains the upper hand and puts him in a submission move. The Judgment Day member is able to break it by grabbing the bottom rope. Meanwhile, Dragon Lee is spotted in attendance. The match goes on with Finn Balor and Damian Priest at ringside, cheering their teammate who sets Rhodes up into the Three Amigos. The American Nightmare counters and hits Dominic Mysterio with the Crossroads followed by a pin for the win. Finn Balor and Damian Priest look on in horror from the ringside. Cody Rhodes defeated Dominic Mysterio. In the aftermath of his loss, the trio attempts to make an attack on Cody Rhodes but Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens run out to even the odds. The Judgment Day make their exit through the crowds. As Rhodes makes his exit, Kevin Owens calls him back into the ring to question why he brought Jey Uso to Raw. KO references his history with the Bloodline, attacking other WWE stars. The American Nightmare claims that his job is to make people happy. He adds that Jey Uso deserves a second chance and should be given time to show that he has changed. He adds that the Bloodline is now down a member, and what could be bad about it? Sami Zayn adds that KO takes time to warm up to people and the struggles Jey Uso has been through, and KO does not need to give him a second chance. Kevin Owens states he cannot forget Jey Uso's interferences in his previous matches. He adds that he trusts Zayn and Rhodes and hopes that they are right about him. Michael Cole notes that Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley suffered injuries at the hands of Nia Jax last week. He adds that the Eradicators suffered bruised ribs in the aftermath of Jax's assault. Moving to the next match. Kofi Kingston vs Ivar. The match was initially set to be a tag team match but was changed as Eric was pulled away. This resulted in a singles match between Kingston and Ivar. The match started with Ivar dominating, showcasing his strength and hitting Kingston with vicious punches into the corner. The New Day member gets up and hits Ivar with punches, followed by a dropkick off the top rope. He knocks his opponent off his feet with a clothesline. Kingston attempts a pin, but Ivar kicks out as Valhalla looks on from the ringside. Kofi Kingston and Ivar are in the ring as they exchange punches. The Viking Raider climbs to the top rope and gears up for a jump, but Kingston rolls out. The former WWE Champion follows it up with a splash off the top rope, followed by a failed pin. The New Day member hypes up the crowd as he gears up for the SOS, but his opponent blocks it and hits him with a powerbomb. He follows it up with a pin, but Kingston kicks out. Ivar gets to the second rope as Valhalla urges him to attempt a moonsault. Despite this, his opponent fights back. Kofi hits Ivar with a sunset flip powerbomb as he gets up and hits Ivar with the Trouble in Paradise, followed by a pin. Kofi Kingston defeated Ivar. Moving to the next match. Shinsuke Nakamura vs Ricochet. Ricochet pounces on his opponent as soon as the bell rings. The two men attempt to put each other in a side headlock as the official tries to separate them. Nakamura kicks Ricochet as he is down. The former IC champion fights back, kicking his opponent into the corner to vent his frustrations. Nakamura takes a cheap shot with a sliding dropkick, hitting Ricochet in the throat. Nakamura gains control as he sets up Ricochet for a suplex, but Ricochet fights back. The King of Strong Style puts his opponent in a submission move in the middle of the ring. Ricochet hits Nakamura with a standing moonsault followed by a pin, but his opponent kicks out. Nakamura turns things around with aggressive counters and chops. Nakamura gears up for a kick in the corner but is met with a vicious knee to the face. He continues to hit him with uppercuts, followed by a springboard. He hits Nakamura with a shooting star, but his opponent still kicks out at the 2 count. The 43-year-old bounces Ricochet neck first off the apron. Ricochet fights back with a kick as Nakamura hits the barricade. He picks up a steel chair as Ricochet uses it against him. And Nakamura is announced as the winner via disqualification. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Ricochet by disqualification. Nakamura continues to attack Ricochet. He uses a steel chair to attack his leg with a steel chair on the post. Seth Rollins appears out of nowhere, and the two engage in a brawl as security tries to separate them. Nakamura throws Rollins on his back on the announcer's table as he is left nursing his back. Moving to the next match. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven vs Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Chelsea Green and Zoe Stark kick off the match. The former attempts to kick Stark, who counters her move and hits her with an uppercut followed by a sliding clothesline. She taunts Niven, who looks on at her tag team partner. Shayna Baszler is tagged in and focuses on injuring Green's arm. She follows it up with a kick to the chest as Stark is tagged in again. She flings Green into the corner as Niven tags herself in. The champions work in unison as Chelsea Green is tagged in again. She tries to knock Stark off her feet, but Piper gets involved as Stark attempts a pin. Shayna Baszler goes after Piper Niven, who is attacked by Nia Jax. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven vs Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark match ends in a draw. Jax goes on a rampage and attacks all the WWE stars involved in the match while making a bold statement on Raw. Moving to the next segment. Jey Uso talks about him being a target on Raw. Damian Priest reaches out to Jey Uso on Raw to join the Judgment Day. Jey Uso responds that he knows about his bloodline. Priest claims that Judgment Day could be the family Jey Uso has been looking for his entire life and adds that Jey Uso needs to give them an answer by the end of the night. Moving to the next match. Chad Gable vs Bronson Reed. The Alpha Academy member tries to knock his opponent off his feet. He hits Reed with a dropkick off the top rope, but Reed remains on his feet. He tries to hit him with a German suplex, but the 300-plus-pound star hits him with a suplex followed by a clothesline. Bronson Reed gives the Alpha Academy member a beatdown. Gable climbs up on the top rope, but Reed lifts Gable over his head, flinging him over the post outside the ring. Bronson Reed has his opponent in a headlock, but he manages to break out of it. Reed hits him with a clothesline, knocking him off his feet. The Alpha Academy member tries to lift Reed for a German suplex, but he counters it into a slam. Reed climbs up on the top rope, hitting Gable with a tsunami jump and pinning him. Bronson Reed defeated Chad Gable. Moving to the backstage segment. Tommaso Ciampa talks about his Raw run so far. He talks about him choosing Imperium to feud with. He calls out Gunther, citing that he has what he wants. The new NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch is ready for Monday Night Raw. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn discuss Jey Uso's actions in the past week. Jey Uso confronts the duo as KO highlights that the Jey Uso is hell-bent on joining the Judgment Day. KO walks away as Sami Zayn tries to diverge the situation with Jey Uso. Zayn claims that he needs to calm down and make a big decision on joining the Judgment Day by the end of the night. The man addresses the WWE Universe for the first time as NXT Women's Champion. She claims it was not just another quest to be Grand Slam champion but also to elevate the title to new heights. Lynch claims that NXT represents progress and the future of WWE. Becky Lynch issues an open challenge for the NXT title on Raw. She is interrupted by Natalya, who claims that no other woman has worked her ass off. She cites she took Rhea Ripley to her limits and now accepts the man's open challenge. Becky Lynch responds that she has a lot of respect for Natalya but clarifies that she wants to face someone new for the title opportunity. Natalya slaps Becky Lynch. The champion then urges the officials to ring the bell for the match to begin. Becky Lynch vs Natalya for NXT Women's Championship. The man takes down Natalya and follows it up with an exploder. The champion attempts a pin but Natalya kicks out. Lynch gears up for the manhandle slam but Natalya counters it into a suplex. She gears up for the sharpshooter, but the man counters. She gets up to the top rope, but Natalya knocks her off with punches. She perches herself on the top rope with a superplex. Natalya attempts a pin, but Lynch kicks out. Becky Lynch hits Natalya with a dropkick off the top rope, following it up with a baseball slide outside the ring. Natalya hits her with a discus clothesline and attempts a pin, but the champion kicks out. Becky Lynch attempts a manhandle slam. The man and Natalya counter multiple rolls-up pins. The next women's champion is successful in hitting her opponent with the manhandle slam, followed by a pin for the win. Becky Lynch defeated Natalya. Moving to the next match. Giovanni Vinci vs Tommaso Ciampa. Vinci attacks Ciampa as soon as the bell rings. While the referee is distracted, Ludwig Kaiser grabs Ciampa's foot. He breaks free as the Imperium member continues to attack him. Gunther watches on from backstage. Giovanni Vinci dominates the match as Tommaso Ciampa struggles to get back to his feet. He hits Vinci with vicious punches. He follows it up with a clothesline as he gets amped up. Tommaso Ciampa is hyped up on Raw. Kaiser attempts to interfere again, but Vinci takes advantage and hits him with a clothesline off the middle rope. Ciampa counters and sets Vinci in a Sicilian stretch as he taps out. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Giovanni Vinci by submission. Moving to the backstage segment. The Visionary claims Nakamura wants everything on his terms, so he needs to come up with a feasible plan. He states the ball is in Nakamura's court, and adds that he could name the time and place and even the stipulation. Moving to the main event.
Drew McIntyre vs. Jey Uso. Main event. Jey Uso has arrived for his match against Drew McIntyre. The Scottish Warrior overpowers main event Jey Uso, trash-talking him. That the match would be quick, if that's all he's got. Jey Uso fights back with punches to McIntyre in the corner, followed by a superkick. Drew McIntyre hits his opponent with a vicious clothesline, knocking him off his feet. An irate McIntyre hits Jey Uso with chops to the chest, followed by kicks. Drew McIntyre shows no mercy to Jey Uso on Raw. The former tag team champion fights back with punches. McIntyre counters it into a suplex and attempts a pin, but Jey Uso kicks out. An irate McIntyre hits his opponent with chops. Jey Uso fights back with headbutts. Jey Uso outsmarts Drew McIntyre, flinging him outside the ring. He follows it up with 2 suicide dives. Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre knocked off their feet outside the ring on Raw. As he gets up, Judgment Day comes out in a bid to lure Jey Uso to their side. The former Bloodline member looks away in angst as he aims to focus on his match. The Judgment Day make their presence clear in the main event on Raw. Drew McIntyre has Jey Uso on the top rope as the Judgment Day looks on. Jey Uso fights back, knocking McIntyre off his feet, but the former WWE champion gets back up, hitting Jey Uso with a superplex. The Scottish Warrior sets Jey Uso in the superplex as the Judgment Day looks on. The two men engage in a heavy exchange of punches to knock each other off their feet. McIntyre hits Jey Uso with the Glasgow Kiss, and Jey Uso follows it up with a Samoan drop. He attempts a pin, but McIntyre kicks out. Drew McIntyre hits Jey Uso with the right hand as he sets up the suicide dive. The Scottish Warrior hits Jey Uso with a spinebuster, but he still remains in the match. The Judgment Day looks on at the match, cheering on Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre gears up for the Claymore kick, but Dominic Mysterio distracts the referee while Balor attacks McIntyre. Jey Uso hits him with a superkick and goes for the pin, but McIntyre kicks out again. Damian Priest pep talks Jey Uso during his match. Jey Uso superkicks Priest off the apron. Drew McIntyre takes the advantage and hits him with the Claymore, followed by a pin for the win. Drew McIntyre defeated Jey Uso. Following the match, the Judgment Day pounces on Jey Uso as the Scottish Warrior watches on, hesitating to prevent the brawl. The American Nightmare runs out and evens the odds against Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio attacks Jey Uso on Raw. Cody Rhodes with the assist to Jey Uso following the main event.